Let's expand the conversation. Nkosinathi Mahlangu, who's head of youth employment at the Momentum Group, joins us to talk about youth unemployment. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Expectations are high as millions are looking to see some sort of indications that the GNU is heading towards credible fiscal reforms as outlined in the statement of intent. What will the finance minister need to prioritize when he delivers the medium-term budget policy statement? More so as we listening to young people, SABC News has been interacting with them, and jobs are at the center of their minds.
Thank you so much, Mpo. Expectations are very high indeed, especially when we're looking at where we are as a country in as far as economic growth is concerned. And obviously now with the GNU in office, South Africans are keen to see what posture will the GNU take in as far as, its treasury is concerned, where we have a very sluggish economic growth and high unemployment rate is still, the Achilles that the country is faced with. So we're looking forward to the midterm budget from the minister, which might not have a lot of new things, but we'd like to know the direction in which Treasury is taking the country, definitely.
As unemployment remains sky high, one would also want to get more clarity on the sustainability of funds like the Social Relief of Distress Grant and how this can be reorganized to stimulate economic growth while it still provides the bare necessities.
That's one key area of which I believe that the minister will make emphasis on. However, I don't foresee any changes in terms of, adjustments or increase in the social relief distress grant. However, I think the minister will make emphasis in saying the grant will still be in effect, considering the high levels of unemployment and how this grant helps a lot of households in South Africa to get by. On the other side as well, we're looking at what plans are there in place when it comes to small businesses, in as much as we know that the minister usually makes reference to township economy, igniting the township economy. However, the plans are there, but it's the execution part thereof to see what types of policies will be implemented across to the respective ministries. However, how the funding will be channeled through the respective departments, because health and education are another priority.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting area when you talk about the township economy, more so as we've seen and followed up as SABC News on the latest happenings there with the spaza shop owners, with what the community is saying, with the food that appears to have been contaminated or poisoned or whatever the case may be. What sort of approach will young people look to? Because, yes, they want to start their own businesses, but there's also a lot of red tape.
There is a lot of red tape, and that takes me back to, even the president's State of the Nation address about a year or so ago, reflecting in terms of how government is intending to remove red tape and come up with policies that will also, serve as catalysts in as far as getting young or youth-owned businesses to thrive, because that's where most of the jobs are anticipated to be created. However, we're still yet to see the plans being put in action, and now with the GNU, performing the way it has in as far as getting the markets to stabilize somewhat, it's going to be interesting to see how the domestic issues are going to be addressed, especially from Treasury, and how finances are going to be filtered through to those respective ministries.
What do you expect the focus to be when it comes to tackling the issue of job creation? What sort of model needs to be implemented in that regard? Because young people are really looking to see what is in store for them.
It's going to be interesting to see, because when it comes to young people, with the over 60% of the rate in terms of unemployment amongst young people, one thing on the other side, there has been, promises from government to say there would be, those infrastructure programs, or maybe focusing into the retail and the manufacturing space. However, there has been very little, in as far as tangibles coming from that end. And then when you look at what young people are also aspiring to do from an entrepreneurial mindset, also where red tape plays a very, very big role. We're also trying to see now how our policy is going to be, reshaped to enable young people to become economically active, whether through job placement or through their entrepreneurial aspirations. However, which sectors are we going to look at? Because agriculture is one sector that can definitely unlock opportunities, but we don't know what the budget might look like in as far as making funds available and also helping those small-scale farmers to be, commercial.
One other matter the Government of National Unity faces is whether, I suppose, it can prove, all of this has a ripple effect to ratings agencies, that it has the fiscal discipline to bring back the country to investment grade status. What sort of compelling case will be needed here?
Well, putting the finger on the pulse, as far as the economic growth is concerned, we need to have, government or treasury taking a stance, looking at, number one, how even the municipalities are funded. We have seen now South Africa is going towards a water crisis. So all those elements, in as much as we now have, energy situation under control, we have more electricity than we did about 200 plus days ago. However, we need more to get our economy growing in terms of how do we still encourage, businesses to thrive. How does corporate South Africa, play a role in terms of, partnering with government in making sure that some of these opportunities are unlocked? Then the markets might also take a closer look in terms of which direction is the GNU leading South Africa. But with the minister tomorrow tabling this midterm budget, it's going to be a balancing act of note, because now the GNU's tone and pulse needs to be tested in this regard.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for weighing in on the discussion. Wrapping up that conversation with Nkosinathi Mahlangu, who is Head of Youth Employment at Momentum Group.